We're finally close to Raw's first exclusive pay-per-view Clash of Champions, which Mick Foley has been repeatedly mistaking for Clash of the Champions, referencing WCW's old special event. I can't say pay-per-view because it was given away on free television, and they gave away major storyline matches that really should have been saved for pay-per-view, so WCW could capitalize on big money for that, especially when Hulk Hogan was in the NWO. But we're not here to talk about Clash of the Champions. We're here to talk about Clash of Champions. Yeah, that sounds confusing, doesn't it? Now, let me just first off say that the main event scene, specifically Rusev versus Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, was a complete mess. Because Finn Balor got injured and they had to scramble to get plans into place. So, I can't blame them for that. So, I'll give them a pass on that. But before I get to the main event scene, let me talk about the rest of the card. TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick. Well, wait, not them. Also announced on the kickoff panel was Alicia Fox versus Nia Jax. Now, there's not really much build. Like, they gave it 2 weeks, and then they skipped the final week, and till Clash of Champions, and, well, there's nothing really to talk about here. Like, Alicia Fox wants to avenge her friend for being beaten up by Nia Jax, who Nia Jax beat on Raw a couple weeks back, and Alicia Fox wanted to get revenge on Raw, and she gets speared through the barricade, so yeah, that was not pretty. So now Alicia Fox wishes to challenge Nia Jax again to avenge her fallen comrade and to avenge her and redeem herself, I think. Um, and Nia Jax looks like the unstoppable monster here, so can Alicia Fox really beat her? Well, with Nia Jax being built up, I'm pretty sure Nia Jax is going to come out with the victory here, though just stay tuned. Now we get to TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick, or the Brian Kendrick, for the Cruiserweight Championship. This came off of a match. This started on the final Raw before Clash of Champions, when Brian Kendrick defeated Grand Metalik, Cedric Alexander, and Rich Swann in a fatal four-way Cruiserweight match to earn a title shot against Perkins at Clash of Champions. So there's not really much to build up from here. Like, they had a confrontation backstage during the Raw Fallout where Brian Kendrick warns TJ Perkins about the upcoming match. And Brian Kendrick, okay, let me just talk about the Cruiserweight match. Like, these fans were pretty much dead, for a while until it started getting really hot. And, you barely got any cheers from them from when they came out. Except for Brian Kendrick, because everyone knows who Brian Kendrick is since he was in WWE in 2009. And, well, if this was Full Sail University, let's just say the cheers would have been louder. So I would have preferred, I'm glad Brian Kendrick's getting this opportunity, but I would have also had liked to see TJ Perkins versus Grand Metalik in a rematch from their Cruiserweight Classic match. So I can't really complain much about that, so that's pretty much it for that. Now we get to the best of 7 series, Cesaro versus Sheamus, the finale, where Sheamus was steamrolling through Cesaro for the first 3 matches. One at SummerSlam, one on Raw, and another on Raw until Cesaro, which surprised me. I was expecting them to trade victories back and forth, then do the final match. But instead, they let Cesaro get steamrolled by Sheamus through logical meaning. Shocking, actually. And Sheamus eventually gets beaten by Cesaro, which makes Cesaro an underdog in this case. And then he cheated in one match using the ropes. And Michael Cole defends to saying, "Oh, if you're a face, you get defended right now." But when a heel does it, oh no, we gotta blasphemize them. We need to treat them like crap. Kind of reflects really different on society. If someone did this and it was a different, I could go into controversial, sensitive subjects, but I'll get in trouble with YouTube because fuck freedom of speech, pretty much. So Cesaro finally traded victories back and forth, and Sheamus is pissed. but now they have a right to sell the score at Clash of Champions, and they didn't really get much build. Like, there was no promo time. Well, there was, but they were really sure and not trying to build character or make you want to cheer for them because WWE expects you to like them or cheer for one another from their past interactions. But like, yeah. So, and also it will also be for an opportunity for the WWE World Heavyweight Title, from what I heard, from the not WWE World Heavyweight Title, um, from the Universal Championship. Oh God. But as I was saying, it's going to be building up for the Universal Championship, from what I gathered. From according to a news source, they're planning to do Cesaro versus whoever wins the Universal Championship at Clash of Champions at the next Raw exclusive pay per view. So I can't wait for that. Eventually, finally, Cesaro's getting his big break. Like, he's finally getting a singles match for the world title. In this case, the Universal title. So I'm glad for that, but there's always a chance they could change plans, so Sheamus could get the victory, so we'll just have to wait and see. Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. Okay, let's just be honest. Chris Jericho's only fighting with him because Sami Zayn called him Kevin Owens' bitch. So, yeah, there's not really much build here. Like, Chris Jericho threw a phone at him and gave him the code breaker. Then Sami Zayn attacked, and they led to a tag team match with the New Day again, with the New Day and Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus the Club and the Shining Stars and etc. 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 And well, yeah, I really did not care. So there's no incentive to care about this match since there's very little build up here. All I know is that, yeah, considering how things went down on Raw, I'm betting that Chris Jericho might come up with the victory. But but I'm pretty sure Sami Zayn is most likely going to win. Like, like Chris Jericho, considering Sami Zayn came out tall and strong in this match, in their tag team match, I'm pretty sure Chris Jericho's going to get the victory here, though. Considering that Chris Jericho likes to put over new guys, Sami Zayn might get the victory. So we'll never know. Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Bayley, a WrestleMania worthy main event. WrestleMania worthy match is happening in Clash of Champions, and Charlotte, like, originally this was going to be Charlotte versus Bayley, but then Sasha Banks came back from injury, and now it's Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, and then now it's going to be including Bayley. And also, like, Bayley had said in numerous interviews that she did not want to make her debut and go straight after the women's championship. She wanted to earn her way up to the top, but when Sasha Banks got injured, they had to bring her up and make her challenge for the women's title. So something tells me that this was only temporarily. Like, they're gonna start doing Charlotte and Sasha Banks for a bit, and then Sasha Banks challenges the other women, and then they build up to Bayley versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania because that's what the rumored card was. So I can't wait for that. And also, as a subplot, Charlotte is having a dysfunctional feud with a dysfunctional relationship with Dana Brooke. Like, you thought Dana Brooke was finally gonna come out of her shell and stand up to Charlotte, and that did not work out. Like, she came back crawling to her after she lost her triple threat opportunity match. So yeah. And now I'm expecting this match. Well, if we did have Rusev versus Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, I would say this match has a chance to steal the show. But, well, considering that there was a ton of good matches on the card for WrestleMania this year, the women's match stole the show, so we could be expected to see the unexpected. So, my bank is that I'm best guessing that Sasha Banks gets the victory since she's back from injury, or it's going to be Charlotte. I know it's not going to be Bayley whatsoever, as much as fans wish for that, but I get why Bayley probably doesn't want the title yet. She wants to earn her way to the top, not just be handed it instantaneously, so expect that to come down when WrestleMania comes around. So now we get The New Day versus the club of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and by God, this was the worst build-up. Specifically, they screwed it all up. Okay, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson go ahead and go from this doctor stuff, which was sort of funny for like a week, and then got boring afterwards regarding ring post-itis, which was funny for a week, and then it just died off for me. And then we get this whole retired home folks, and I'm like, oh god. Like, you guys are not supposed to be this way. Like, from what little I've seen from the Bullet Club, they look like they take their job seriously, yet sometimes adding some comedic elements, specifically the Young Bucks being comedic at times. If you watch when they crashed Global Wars' main event, when Adam Cole joined. So, why is Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson acting like a comedic duo, acting like a comedic group? Well, because Vince McMahon hates everything. So, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, they do this old day segment with three old guys who were, well, the New Day impersonators as old men. And the New Day come out, blah, 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 blah. This was a horrible segment. I hated it. I do not like to talk about it. But I'm specifically talking about the bastardization of the Bullet Club of WWE. Like, did Vince McMahon hear that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks came out acting like the New Day and said, oh, that's the Bullet Club, a comedic group. Okay, let's do that. Because there is no way other than, oh, well, they created it, so I get to destroy it. So I get to destroy the group founders, the founding fathers of the Bullet Club, and humiliate them. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because Luke Gallows has said in an interview that Vince McMahon had completely forgotten that Luke Gallows was fetus. Okay. I'm pretty certain you could remember a terrible gimmick that did not work out. I'm pretty sure people would remember that the most compared to a good gimmick. To be told that, oh, I don't know who Luke Gallows was back then, and be told, yeah, his name was Fetus, and like he was, there's something wrong with you. Like, you're supposed to remember this. Didn't you come up with that gimmick? You completely forgot that Luke Gallows was Fetus? Like, I could get to a degree with the shaved head and whatnot, and how he did a complete 180 in appearance, but there are some things that make you remember, yeah, that was Fetus. Hard to believe that really was him. So, yeah, this was the worst build-up, and compared to Rusev and Roman Reigns' build-up, I would have preferred no build-up to this build-up. So, something tells me that the New Day is not going to retain the belts, though, considering they're selling well in merchandise. I'm pretty sure they will. But if Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson win, they should have gotten a better build, and I really had wished it was the No More Big Cass that won the tag team belts, since they're very popular, and plus it just felt right. If Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, like I said, had been given a better build-up towards the New Day, then I wouldn't complain as much. So we'll just have to wait and see. Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Okay, after their SummerSlam fight, which wasn't really a match, it was a big brawl, which ends with Roman Reigns looking strong and standing tall as the silent killer, which was awesome. They just kind of went off the radar. Like, I was expecting like Roman Reigns to get screwed by Rusev during the Fatal 4-Way Universal Championship match. That never happened. And then it felt like this match was not even going to happen because Rusev was on a 23-day honeymoon with Lana. Then all of a sudden Rusev comes back during the match against Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. And Rusev costs Roman Reigns the victory, and Roman Reigns is pissed off. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, after when they did the cage match between Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, which I will get to when I get to Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, Rusev just beat the holy hell out of Roman Reigns until Seth Rollins made the save. So they have not been given any time, but like I said, I would prefer this kind of build-up instead of the New Day versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson build. Oh god, that was horrible. So, is Rusev gonna win? Like, there is one thing I've noticed. Someone in the comments section pointed out that Roman Reigns acted more like a heel in this feud instead of Rusev. Like, Rusev's trying to defend his wife's honor during the SummerSlam build, and you can make the argument he's still doing it now. And Roman Reigns is kind of dishonoring Rusev's wife by humiliating her and whatnot. Yeah, I gotta agree with them. Like, it's just kind of odd. Like, they're trying to reverse everything, yet try to make it look like, oh, Rusev's the villain. He's trying to defend his wife's honor. Roman Reigns is the good guy. He's bullying them. Specifically, Lana. Yeah, that's WWE logic right there at its finest. So, I'm expecting that Rusev might retain, considering what happened at SummerSlam. But something tells me Roman Reigns might get the victory. We'll just have to wait and see, like I've said 1,000 times in this video. But we'll never know until Clash of Champions. Now we get to the main event. The dream match for so many fans. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Kevin Steen versus Tyler Black. Kill Owens Kill versus The Man. Or the prize fighter if you want to go there. And, well, considering that the original plan was Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor from what I heard, this whole plan was messed up, so I could get if there were some problems with this build, because they were scrambling together to get something fixed here. So after Finn Balor was forced to relinquish the Universal Championship, they built a fatal 4-way match, and I talked about that in a previous video, where Kevin Owens got help from Triple H at the end, and Seth Rollins is now pissed off. Like, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins' dispute is based off of Triple H because Triple H got involved and screwed Seth Rollins after 2 years of friendship and loyalty. So, yeah. Now, the other problem is, well, my one problem I have was when Seth Rollins said that when Kevin Owens stepped foot in NXT, he had his hand held the entire way. That was my only problem with this build. Like, okay, you just very much tried to diminish everything Kevin Owens did in NXT by saying, oh, Triple H helped him. Even though there was no involvement between him and Kevin Owens during his time in NXT, or up until his main event during his time on the main roster. So, up until that point, Kevin Owens was doing everything by himself. So, what makes you say that he was always being carried by Triple H to get to that mountaintop? Like, I could get if Triple H was seeing him as his chosen one to replace Seth Rollins, so Seth Rollins become a failed plan. I get that because the relationship between him and Triple H backstage is actually pretty good. And, well, yeah, I'm just confused by this sense of logic. But Kevin Owens has done well to be a Universal Champion. Oh god, I hate that title. Like, I started using Kevin Owens' Universal Belt thing as a way to put in WWE 2K16, but that doesn't make me hate it any less. So, yeah. I'm expecting Kevin Owens to retain, but rumors were going around that Seth Rollins might get the belt, and I'm like, please don't. Like, I want to see Kevin Owens with the belt. I want to see him hold it for a while. And considering Kevin Owens and considering that whoever was supposed to be Universal Champion by this point, possibly still Finn Balor had he not gotten injured, he would have faced Brock Lesnar. So Kevin Owens might still get to face Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble. He just needs to survive without getting injured. And now Kevin Owens, we might see Kevin Owens versus Cesaro again, which would be awesome. But this has potential to be match of the year quality. But they have to compete with Rusev versus Roman Reigns and Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Bayley. So they need to compete with that. So let's hope Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins ends up with Kevin Owens winning, because Seth Rollins winning the Universal Belt now, considering that they're going to prepare to build up for Triple H versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, where you can make the argument it doesn't need the belt. And considering that Seth Rollins stood tall at the end by saving Roman Reigns, though they had little interaction about it, I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns had a shocked look on his face that Seth Rollins came to his save. And Seth Rollins, like, I can't say he's a face in this feud. He still acts like the manipulator that he is, trying to get Mick Foley to get out of this partnership with Stephanie, and like insults Mick Foley, and then disrespects him and his authority, even though he's the good guy here. I get they're trying to make a transition between the heel and the face, which I can actually respect because they're actually trying. So this feud still feels like heel versus heel. Seth Rollins is on a mission of vendetta-ness, and Kevin Owens is the prize fighter with a cocky, arrogant vibe. So, yeah, this is more of a heel versus heel, which reminds me of the Shield versus Wyatt family round 1. Oh man, that was a good time. So, we don't know what's going to happen in this match. Like, rumor had it that Triple H is going to get involved again. And there was also rumors that it was going to be Seth Rollins with Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley to fight Kevin Owens with Triple H at his side. To, like, show that Stephanie's on Seth Rollins' side and Triple H is on Kevin Owens' side to show conflict. Though I'm glad they're not hopefully doing that, since that would just lead to another McMahon feud, and we all know how that turned, and we all know we've seen that enough. So, that's pretty much it. There's a total of 8 matches on here, double than that of SmackDown Live's pay-per-view match. They had a Backlash, there was like 5, so, but they made up for it with long matches. So those are my thoughts on Clash of the Champions build. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.